Hey everybody, it's Cohen here, Latin American shoutcaster and League of Legends and Dota 2 analyst here. Just bringing up some ideas regarding this topic that appeared on Reddit today. Obviously, I'm talking about Ghost Crawler's idea about changing the picks and ban systems to something quite more similar to Dota 2. I will place the image on the computer right now for you, so you can actually read it and give you some time because, well, I think it's better if you read it. Okay, so basically the proposal here is having mid-game bans and 5 bans per team. This, of course, has some great advantages for us. So TI5 for the last few weeks, where EG actually stomped everybody. Congratulations, EG, you're great at Dota 2. There is another topic regarding you I'd like to talk in another video, but this is not the moment right now. Okay, so what are the great advantages of this? For example, this season and last season we saw the high impact of the Juggernaut or Phalanx comp, where everybody forced themselves to protect Kog'Maw, and it was quite common to see your enemy taking this in a certain rotation immediately some Janna Lulu first rotation of picks, purple side whatsoever, and you immediately had to pick Kog'Maw Jinx, so you could take one to the bottom lane, one to the middle lane, deny all the picks, and force you to perhaps run a comp that wasn't what you planned, and moreover, wasn't something that your picks would favor, leaving you with some sort of crappy poke pick team fight phalanx comp that doesn't quite work. Okay, so mm, these changes actually could favor that a lot, so one can actually run his favorite teamfight comp or second phalanx comp whatsoever without having to actually alter it while like bugging the enemy team. And this, of course, would give us a more varied competitive scene where we can see not necessarily the same 3-4 junglers every time, where we can see not necessarily the 3-4 top laners, 80 carries whatsoever every time. However, what's the greatest problem here? When we compare League of Legends to Dota 2, we first have to realize that both games are completely different to this point. While both are actually MOBAs, the strategic diversity and also the, how the people call this, mm, in general, the map style is quite different. First of all, League of Legends has a symmetric map, right, radial symmetric, while Dota 2 is completely anti-symmetric, and we do have actually an advantage for the Radiant side or the Dire side, depending on your game style. Dire side is actually proven right now to have a great advantage for taking Roshan, for example. However, um, we have to remember that in Dota 2, one team picks a side, the other team decides to whether first pick and last pick, or just have the middle picks. Okay, that's first point here. Second point, for those of us who actually saw the International 5, we might actually have seen that only 6 heroes weren't picked during the entire event, including wildcards, including group stages. So, okay, and these heroes were Death Prophet, Earth Spirit, Oracle, whatsoever. And we have to remember that actually Earth Spirit and Oracle weren't enabled for the tournament. So only 4 heroes of the 100 and something heroes that Dota has weren't actually played. While in a competitive season of League of Legends, we see around only 61% of the champions picked or banned in every game, and thus considering niche picks like the Udyr. Okay, so what's the deal here? We have 6 bans per game. This is a small percentage of the champion pool. Having 10 bans per game would actually leave us with only 53% of the champions in League of Legends as viable picks. So, I'm talking fully about the competitive scene. So, what's the great deal here? 53% of the champions, and yet again, I'm considering Udyr and, I don't know, Warwick, who had a little bright season, or Lissandra, Malphite, and some niche picks in here that aren't actually seen as a top tier champions. And sure, I mentioned a while ago that it would be great to see non-top tier champions in our competitive games. However, the balance style that Riot Games has managed and has given us towards the season, the past season in general, all these years, always favors a small champion pool while having a great difference between the next tiers. Imagine, for example, this game from TSM last season where Mason got banned. He sold 4 champions that were actually tier 1 in the competitive scene in the jungle, and he was forced to take Volibear. We were in a meta where early game junglers had their great spike in power for the competitive season, and however, even Volibear being an actually super strong early game carry jungler, he had zero impact in the game. And this actually shows great differential between, I mean, the main picks in a jungle season and the tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 picks. While, for example, in Dota 2, you can ban the Leshrac, which of course was like top 1 during the entire international, but you still had the Queen of Pain, the Storm Spirit, the Ember Spirit. I can give you much more names for that middle lane. The Lina was also seen there, Templar Assassin. The hero pool in this case is like way bigger, and the differences aren't so big because Dota 2 is also more counterpick centric, while League of Legends isn't. Uh, Also, this would have to actually change a bit the solo queue system for picking and banning, and actually giving us like a better way to communicate than just saying jungle please and not knowing if you want to jungle or if you want me to jungle. And the other point is that actually if we're gonna keep having this small champion pool due to the balanced style that Ghostcrawler and Morello have given us throughout all these years, it would be necessarily obligatory to add some versatility to peaks. I mean, yeah, sure, Lulu can be played top, middle, support, for example. However, try to imagine Gragas in another place that is not the jungle right now. Try to imagine, for example, an Oriana in another lane that is not the middle lane. We would need to have actually more versatility with the peaks. And Dota 2 map actually grants that when having a safe lane and an off lane, but this doesn't happen in League. So the whole balance style of the game should actually be changed in my opinion if we actually want to have this 5-ban system. I'm a complete fan of mid-draft bans. However, I do not think that balance-wise, League of Legends is a prepared game for that. I'm not saying that is something wrong, I'm just saying that it's not the style that League of Legends has provided us throughout all these years, and if we made a change like instantly, things wouldn't work out. I mean, 5.16 is coming up, it's gonna be a big patch, but we would need to see how it develops, because I sincerely doubt that the meta can change in favor of more versatile picks if the balance is not done before. However, I remind you, this is like just my opinion. I'm a complete fan of the idea of having mid-draft bans. However, I do not think we're ready, but I don't know. Maybe you are. I would like to hear your opinions in the comments. And this was Cohen from Latin America. See you soon.